There's so much talk about the recession. The news headlines are everywhere. The yield curve has inverted, and if you're not sure what that is, just go ahead and Google it because you'll be able to get a better explanation than what I can do. But over the last 50 years, when the yield curve inverts, it's one of the most consistent recession indicators. That, coupled with the stock market dropping 800 points in August and it bouncing back up and down ever since, it's caused a lot of talk about the recession being closer than we thought. So what does this mean for the U.S. housing market? Hi, I'm Caitlin Davis with Weichert Realtors, the Andrews Group. Interestingly enough, homeowners in the U.S. have over $6.3 billion in equity in their homes. Only 4.1% of homeowners have negative equity. And back in 2010, homeowners had 25.3% negative equity. So as we think about a recession and how it relates to the housing market, we really need to look at factors like this. With $6.3 billion in equity in homes, homeowners just aren't going to bail out. And then you've also got to look at the Urban Institute. They say that over 37% of homes don't even have a mortgage on them. Now, during the last crash, people were taking equity out of their homes and buying things like boats and cars. Like they were basically using their homes as an ATM machine. But now they're keeping the money in their homes, and that's why 37% are mortgage free, and we have another $6.3 billion in equity. Now, let's see what CoreLogic thinks. They break down their anticipated increase in appreciation. If you look at this graph, all states with the exception of Texas are seeing an increase in appreciation. Now, according to the Home Price Expectation Survey, all of the analysts are saying we're going to see an appreciation between the next 2 and 4 years, just depending on how far out each organization makes their predictions. The reason I feel this is important to talk about is because with all the hype of a recession, we need to truly know what it means about the U.S. housing market and not let the fear of what happened back in the last recession control our thoughts and emotions about what we should or shouldn't do right now. As Allie Wolf, the director of economic research, says, as people having PTSD from the last time, they're still afraid of buying at the wrong time. But we need to know the differences between 2008 and right now. As Jeff Tucker, Zillow economist, states, the housing crash during the Great Recession left a lasting impression. But as we look ahead to the next recession, it's important to recognize how unusual the conditions were that caused the last one and what's different about the housing market today. Rather than an abundance of homes, we have a shortage of new home supply. Rather than risky borrowers taking out adjustable rate mortgages, we have buyers with sterling credit scores taking out predictable 30-year fixed rate mortgages. The housing market is simply much less risky than it was 15 years ago. Bottom line is that we are in a totally different time, and many of the economic indicators, as well as how easy it was to get a loan and the types of loans that were available back then, are totally different. So let's not make this something that it isn't. I just feel it's so important that we know the facts because many times the media is not telling us the whole story. And they love to get those negative headlines out there because it gets you to click and it gets them more sales. So please reach out to me as I want to be your knowledge base in all things real estate. I'm Caitlin Davis, Heart, Brains, and Courage, guiding you home.